This is my work that I have done for my Collab project during January and February. This is group 20, otherwise the known project as Ball Game. The jump dodge in the game is a pickup, and when the player has it, it will have a spring icon. If the player were to press their bottom face down button controller, they will jump. This is of course a one-time use space ability, and its main purpose is to avoid other players from running into you, or for other general ways to getting over things like ramps. The camera is a single camera that tracks all players within the scene. This can adjust accordingly based on the amount of players that are located. If the camera spreads further from the players, it will have a maximum length that it can zoom. If you get close together, then the camera will also zoom in. And again, this will also have a max length. Two, one. As you can see, this is an example of a camera that is max zoomed out. And if I were to move the players closer together, you will see how the camera zooms in. And again, this will of course adjust on the amount of players within the game. Another aspect that I worked on during my time at Collab was the raycast detection. This system is used commonly for many items that the other students had made. For example, the rocket. The rocket will go ahead and shoot out raycast to each player it can locate, and if it can locate a player that's not been obstructed, it will proceed to try and launch the player. Another aspect of the game that isn't used is the health bar. Now, as you can see, there is a health system in the UI. However, initially we planned for it to be a segmented health bar. The reason why this was not implemented in time was due to it being a last additional bonus for us to work on. The omnidirectional platform is used to grant the player speed based on whatever rotation they are aiming at. This is currently used within our game. For example, if you can see, when I'm walking across, my base speed increases normally. And if I turn sharply, you will see that it moves me in increased direction from the way that I'm aiming. The directional speed boost pad is used to launch the player in a singular direction. This is used in the same map here, where the ramps will launch the player in the one direction. The lead ball in the game is currently going to be unused, as in the final game we initially planned to have a shield system for a lead ball. Sadly, we did not have the time to work on updating the health system to be improved, and therefore we never got to getting the lead ball to work. Initially, the lead ball only slowed down the player, which was supposed to go alongside its shield, because the point of it was to slow you down, but also grant you shield, making you harder to deal damage to. And once you manage to break your shield, you will become vulnerable again to normal damage. I worked on the free for all game mode. It's a game mode where the objective is to get as many knockouts as possible within the time frame. Unlike Deathmatch, where it's a live-based system similar to the stock mode of games like Super Smash Bros.
2, 1, go.
I'm grabbing that audio and I'm putting in this replacement anyway. 'Cause fuck you for not updating.
Two, one, go.
As you can see, on the top there is a countdown, and the whole point is that players will wander around the map collecting power-ups and such, and using them to gain knockouts. Once the player gains enough knockouts, they will be in the lead. You know, I'm just gonna go over this in a different fucking part in the editing. I'll just say it right here. As you can see above, there is a timer above the characters. As you can see above, there is a timer on the top of the screen. This timer will be going down incrementally, and the whole point of the objective is to get as many kills as possible before the time runs out. Once the time runs out, it will then load the next scene and detect how many kills each player has gotten. Players may use their abilities to attack other players. But as you can see, now that we are closing in on 10 seconds, we can find out who is the winner. Another aspect that I worked on was the victory scene. The point of this was that there'd be a podium at the end that displays who is on top. This system goes ahead and detects the score that is calculated at the end of each game mode, and from there will go ahead and determine the height of the podium. As you can see, every player besides player 1 is the same. That is because they all had equal kills. And player 1 had 1 kill, meaning that he's on top. The game utilizes bumpers and flippers to help with the pinball level. The bumpers bump the player in the opposite direction that they are moving in, as such. The flippers will flip and launch the player also. This can then be utilized in the pinball map to allow for even more chaotic sessions with friends, and also to help possible chances of quick getaways. The final game of Ball Game uses a more advanced main menu that, with the help of the tech team, was mostly created by Jack Blunt. However, I did work on the default build of the main menu for when we were working on our playtest. Now, it's very similar to how I had done it before. The only changes would be that the controls used to be a play test level, but since now that's pointless, we have now replaced it with a controls thing from Jack. Now, all of this is new to the work that I had done for the main menu, and I will let the ones who worked on this go further and explain how they have done it. The speed boost is a power up that will increase the player's speed. If the timer of the power up runs out, the player's base speed will go back to normal. As you can see.